Good evening, and welcome to The Mind of a Man, Decoding Man. This is the fourth talk series. Today we end the Decoding Man talk series that I started 5 weeks ago. Would have been last week, but it wasn't. We extended it another week. So tonight I want to welcome every single one of y'all to The Mind of a Man, Decoding Man. Tonight's talk, I titled it 5 Signs He's Actually a Player. So, it's funny. Before we start, I want to first and foremost thank every single one of y'all, ladies, that for the last 4 weeks, you all have expressed your comments, your likes with regards to this talk series. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that you all have shown me so much kindness with regards to this project that I intentionally started it because of a need that I've heard for so many of y'all with regards to why is it the men act the way that we act? Why do we say what we say? Why do we act the way we act? And basically, I heard the need, and I'm just tearing down the veil on why men act the way we act. Now, again, if I've said it before, a lot of men are not going to say that this is true, which is okay. I'm not going to say that that everybody's going to be in agreement with me, which is fine. This is my take, and my take is because I'm a man. I've been a man for the last 39 years of my life. Certainly, I've experienced many situations, scenarios throughout my young adult to my now adult life. I've experienced so many situations, circumstances, and by which not only my own personal experiences and my own personal takes, but at the same time, I have friends from all different levels, from high executive CEOs to my from the streets kind of friends from back in the day, and we all act the same way. Everyone, they may be in a different stage, a different season in their life, but I guarantee you the scenario may not have been the same one, but the outcome is always the same. Why? Because we're all men. We're all wired the same exact way. We just act a little bit different based on the scenario where we're at in the moment. Some of us act differently because we're married. Some of us act differently because we have a relationship going on. Some of us act the way we act because we're single. So what is it that we do to keep you ladies guessing, thinking, why is it that he says what he says? Why is it that he lies? Why is it that he cheats? Why is it that I can't find a man such as him? You know, he's a hard worker. He's not a hard worker. You know, there's so many levels and questions that ladies tend to ask about why men act a certain way. And I'm just here again tearing down the veil on why men do what we do. If you've been part of the last 3 talk series, I've given you some basic understanding, some basic warning signs on different scenarios, different topics, and based on what men act the way they are. And tonight's talk, I am going to just finalize this talk series with the warning signs, basically, and give you a little bit of a preface and understanding why, men tend to be players. That's a common term for a lot of ladies out there. You ladies do not want to have a man that is a player, and unfortunately, us men, we all go through a season of having, kind of the way one of my mentors used to say, string some along and just kind of play the field and doing me just because of whatever season he was currently in. Now, every man goes through that. I will let you ladies know, every man will go through a season in which he is a player. Why? Because it's something in our system. We have to get it out there because of the associations that we have based on our friendships. So we do develop these habits based on association and because of what we see, not only again through association, but what we see out in the public, out in the community, out in the social media, movies, whatever it is. It gets embedded into our system, into our psyche, and we act by osmosis based on what we see and what our internal mentally humanistic feelings we want to go through. So again, tonight's talk is going to be basically more on identifying the signs whether a man is a player or not. Again, not every man is, maybe in the same season, but we go through through the same path. Why? Because again, I've said it, we're not that hard to figure out, ladies. We're very linear. We're very accustomed to our own ways. We are creatures of habits. We are repetitive individual. Based on what we like is based on what we're used to. So that is one of the reasons why we are the way we are. So once again, thank you all for joining me tonight in Decoding Man, the Mind of a Man talk series. Tonight's topic will be the 5 signs that he's actually a player. So just want to thank every single one of y'all that's joining me in right now through this live series. My name is Enrique Palomino Hidalgo. I know it's a long, it's a mouthful, but I am very happy to have you all here tonight, joining me in my last talk series for this, actually the last talk series for this series. Thank you all once again. The Mind of a Man, Decoding Man. Tonight's topic is going to be the 5 signs he's a player. So why don't we go ahead and start with a little bit of a preface, basically on understanding exactly why men tend to be players. And again, this full disclosure, again, not a lot of men are they're not going to agree with what I'm saying. And again, it's okay. If you get offended, I can't do anything about it. It's my own personal take. Again, why? Because I'm a man. I've been a man for the last 39 years. I've been groomed to be one. I've grown, learned. I've taken my licks. I have understood. I've grown and matured because of it. So, and not only am I taking my own personal take, my own personal experience, but it's also based on experiences that I've had with several of my very close friends, associates, people that I know that are, we all encounter similar situations, just in different seasons. So let's go ahead and start this preface of understanding whether your man is a player or if you can understand the signs of what it is to be a player. Now, let me go ahead and say something real quick. A player does not necessarily mean that he's a man that's always after women, after women, after women, after women. There's some stuff behind the curtain. You gotta understand. There's a reason why men tend to be in that scenario, but it's not necessarily all about trying to go from woman to woman to woman. So ladies, go ahead and hear me out on this. So, all right, so let's go ahead and understand what is a player. So I've done a little bit of research, and there's some there are variations and definitions of what it is to be a player. But and through all these definitions and variations, there's one thing that was very consistent of all these definitions and variations that I actually found to be. So what it is that I found that tend to be very consistent is basically that a player is a guy who pretends to care about you, plays with your emotions, And typically, their end goal is just to get you in bed. Plain and simple, ladies. That is the consistency of what a player is set out to do. Now, a lot of there's now sometimes, and again, it's as much as a disclosure on this is that it's not. Sometimes a player is not all about it's not about sex for them as to be the real issue, but it's more about what comes with this whole thing. It's the lying, the putting up a front, and just having a sort of an unsavory characteristic that only demonstrates that there's a real problem to this whole situation. So always remember that it's not so much on the visual what lies. It's it's underneath. What's the root of all this problem? So there's a problem. There's a reasoning behind this whole take on being a player. So, and another thing that I needed to let y'all know, we men, by nature, it's not a chemical thing. It's a humanly designed thing that by nature men are hunters. I have said it in the past. We are hunters by nature. What we do is hunt. When we set out to hunt is because we've already set our eyes on the prey, on whatever it is that we're out there. If you go and talk to a hunter, for them, hunting is a game. And basically, this is a game for all men. For men that are out there just trying to find the next prey, the next hunting. For them, it's a game. It's a game of setting up the traps, get the feel for it, to try and find out who is going to be their next prey. Again, if you talk to a hunter, hunters, this is a game for them. The game of waiting, the game of putting out the traps, it's just a patience and waiting game for a hunter. For men, we are hunters by nature. We go out there, we hunt, and in all the various different scenarios. There's hunters out in the clubs, out in the bars, out in restaurants, parks, gyms, churches. I mean, you name it, they'll be there. So how to understand and actually understand their the signs and be able to have some sort of a pregame and not be able to fall into these would-be traps of some of these men that are out there, just typically, like I said, just to play games, basically play games, lie, and not really, and just play some sort of front. So basically, this is what I'm going to do. This is it's just the understanding of knowing what is it that it is to be a player. So let's go ahead and start with the first reason. One of the first reasons, and again, this is just a preface before we actually go into the warning signs. So let me go ahead and set this up. I'm going to lay this out for y'all so you understand a little bit about, not to feel sorry for them, but to understand that there is a reasoning behind their attitude, their approach towards you, and why are they the way they are. And again, this is not for you to feel sorry for them, but it is just for your own understanding, your own safety, and for you to be able to understand and be able to catch it. And I'm sorry, there's people out there already trying to pop fireworks, and it's not even the 4th of July weekend yet. So if you hear a little bit of whistling, it's because of that. So anyways, reason number one that I found through my research is that they're love starved. Now, what do I mean about love starved? Typically, it's known as a child, there's a big difference between a father and a mother. They always say that the son is more attached to the mother and the daughters are more attached to the fathers. Apparently, there's a psychological attachment that we have to our mothers. As a man, we are more attached to our mothers than we are our fathers. as we grow, obviously, we have to understand the difference between that specific love that we have towards our parents. Now, there's a lot of men out there that they are early in their development. They lacked they craved the acceptance and the love of their mother. Now, I know it sounds like a cliche, and people that are in psychology or people that are probably have heard it through either memes, talks, or books. It sounds like a cliche that it's because of because of something that they lack from a motherly instinct, but it is a deep childhood need. It seems to be unshakable for them. So that's one of the reasons that I found very interesting to know that a lot of men tend to be lack the acceptance and the motherly love, that they never actually received motherly love, and that's why they develop a certain crave, a certain starvation for love, and it's not the type of love that they should be craving, So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, second reason why I kind of see and research through this whole thing of being a player is that they're underdeveloped. I've heard it. I know I've been called this a couple of times back in my younger days. Immaturity. I was very immature. Ladies, I will ask you, trace back through your past relationships, maybe through your current relationship. How many times have you mentally or verbally have said to your partner, "You're so immature"? And maybe in your perspective, he's immature based on a situation that you wish he would have taken it a different approach. And it's okay. It's okay for you to feel that way, And it's not their fault, but it's not your fault either. It's just based on the idea of how they grew up. They get stuck. It's a term called they peak at a certain age in their life that they don't grow past that. So basically, this is what they call the mama's boy stage. So basically, when a man craves, lacks acceptance and love and all that, it's basically because there's those men that got way too much love from their mother, way too much attention from their mother, that they do develop sort of a mama stage syndrome, And a lot of you ladies may know a few ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands, current relationships, I don't know, that may have this situation going on in their life at this moment. I know I've heard it from a few of my female friends in the past that they said that, their ex-partner was such a mama's boy because it was always about their mother. Now, I will tell you, we love our mothers. I know I do. I love my mother, but I know I'm not, I don't crave to be, next to my mother all the time. But it's to have a healthy love. To be able to understand that you have to go past that stage in your life. Because if you don't, all your men out there, if you are going to be listening to this, you need to shake that syndrome off of your life if you really want to step up and grow out of this stage. Because women out there are not interested in someone that is always going to be talking about their mom, trying to look for a lady to mold and to personify or to show the traits of their mother. I don't think you ladies are wanting something like that. I hope y'all agree with me on this. So, ladies, yes, we do have a mama syndrome, but can we pass it? Yes, we can pass it, but there's men out there that typically are just okay not passing it, and they're okay being in that stage. They're comfortable. So now, again, this is just the kind of guy that's usually, has some sort of a bad timing. There's just, and unfortunately, because of their bad timing, they're never going to outgrow that. No matter how old they grow, because of the timing and the moment in their life, they're not going to outgrow it. So that's another thing that I found through my research, that it's the underdeveloped mentality and that they develop based on this mama syndrome. So now there's a third reason that I also found, that is of why men become players, and that's the need to validate a weak ego. Yes, we do have egos. Some of us have a huge ego. Some of us have a very low ego. Some of us are in the middle, but we all have an ego. Doesn't matter what stage in your life, we all develop an ego. And then because of this ego, we try to always get it validated. So it's easier for us to, for us as it's just that one part of this personality that, a guy, a player, really stands out. It's that type of player that needs validation badly. And all he does is just try to do it through the physical aspect of it, through sex, through getting the ladies into the bed. That's their validation. That's for them to validate their ego. So, this is the type of man that needs to feel like he's worth something, so he puts another notch on his headboard, just to make himself feel better. It's just that type of man that, goes out there and talks all this big game and wants to just add another notch to his belt, another notch to his headboard, to say, hey, as a hunter, another trophy to his trophy case. That's basically what, this is the type of validation that someone that has a weak ego tends to have in order to validate themselves, to have this masculinity, maturity in their mindset. But obviously that is the wrong way to go about it. Now, some of these guys do enjoy the feeling of proving that they can do what they were born to do, which is attract women. Now, every man can attract a woman. Doesn't matter how ugly you are, how attractive you are. We are bound to attract women. Why? Again, because it's a physiology. A connection. It's a spiritual connection. We're all connected in one way or another. Some of us get connected to our lifelong partner. Some of us don't. But we do have an interconnection destination. Everybody's going to connect to someone sooner or later. Some of us connect to the wrong type of people just based on our carnal needs. Some of us, do connect to the right person. So there's the players out there. For them, it's just a matter of proving themselves that they can pretty much attract any woman that's out there. I know there's coaches out there that coach men out there, and I know there's women coaches as well that do the same thing and also do it for women, that to try and attract women for a man. Now, for us, it's again, it's not rocket science. We can attract a woman. It doesn't matter. You can be the ugliest dude in the block, or you could be the most handsome, dude also. You're going to attract based on your personality, based on who you are, what you bring to the table, if you're doing it the right way. Now, if you're going to do it the wrong way, which is the way these players tend to do it, you're doing it more to fill up your ego than anything else. So for women, keep an eye on these, type of men. The ones that are always talking about, I have any women that I want. They're always, talking this big noise. You really want to keep away from these type of men, because remember, whatever it is that you women are out there putting out is what you're going to attract. And that's really what these hunters, these players are looking into. They're trying to peep out and find out exactly what it is that, they can get, in there. As soon as they get their foot in the door, it's game. It's game for them. So those are some of the those are some of the reasons that I found through my research on why men, tends to be the way they are: underdeveloped, weak ego, and love starvation. So though that's just a small preface based on what I found. So let's go ahead and start with the 5 signs that a man could be a potential player. So first sign, he's a sweet talker. How many times you ladies have encountered a man, whether it's through social media, because obviously everything now is through social media. Nothing is now like the old times, the old ways, where a man can approach a lady, with the right intentions, trying to, get their, ask their name, strike a simple conversation, And also, ladies out there nowadays, you're so guarded that even when a man is trying to approach you in the right manner, you're so guarded that, you don't know whether that man could be your lifelong partner. It could be that man that, potentially is the man that you've always asking for. But because whatever it is that you're trying to block and trying to protect yourself, you're basically steering away what could be your lifelong happily ever after. So let's go back to this potential sign. He's a sweet talker. There's how many times have you received messages through your inbox, this thing, sliding into the DMs, kind of a scenario where someone, finds you attractive, and then they start saying all these sweet things to you that catches your attention. I'm gonna tell you how they're doing it. They're going by what they see on your profile. What you're putting out there is basically, that's ammunition for us to be able to put together a strategic game plan to be able to go after you. Why? Because whatever it is that you put out there, you're exercising, that you're traveling, that you're working, that you're a mother, that you're putting way too much information out in these social media profiles, ladies, that you're giving us basically, and I've talked about it, you're giving us the keys to the kingdom, basically. So you got to learn how to not really give us everything all at once, even though you may not be doing it intentionally. But there's men out there, God, understand you. There's men out there that are looking at your pages, trying to find a way in. Understand this. Even the men that you already are associating with, they may be finding some sort of way to try and have that foot inside the door to get that opportunity. So if a man sweet talks you gotta keep an ear open and figure out what their intentions are. So sweet talking, that's the first sign. You gotta understand, if you have someone that, that right there is someone that's being slick, that's trying to be a very sweet talker to you. You gotta understand that, this guy may come across a little, these are the type of guys that are gonna come across a little bit like I'm not knocking on, salespeople, but they tend to come at you like a salesperson. They try to, they're trying to manage whatever it is to try to keep you into check, with that little bit of an aw shucks Southern style, smooth talker, that very slow, slow to get to whatever it is that they're trying to approach. He knows, and we're going to go back to giving us the information without you even noticing that you're giving us. These are the type of persons that are going to tell you the right thing, and it's because it's hard to resist. It's hard to resist not listening to something that for a fact it is something that you're desiring to hear. So, you find it very flattering that a person may be agreeing with you on a term, on a situation. You may be posting something on social media, and if this is a man that has some sort of an attraction to you, and it's not in the right way, but is trying to get his foot in the door, he's going to agree with you. He's going to tell you the right thing. He's going to tell you things that you're going to say, "Oh, how sweet. He understands me. He knows," and that's our ultimate game. It's for us to let you know, ladies, we're going to agree with you. Why? Because that's what hunters do. We're going to set up these traps to be able to, keep that trail going. So, for us, flattery is one of the things that men tend to use a lot. Flattery will get you nowhere, man. Flattery, not in the right way. Women, can spot that a mile away, especially if they tap into their intuition, to that sixth sense. You ladies can spot someone that's just trying to get, that foot in the door. But again, to be able to understand it, you got to understand that there's, the first sign is it's someone that's a sweet talker. So, just be cautious. Just be cautious. Be cautious of these individuals. These individuals are just trying to just get a rise an emotion out of you, so you can crack open the door and start letting them in. So keep an eye on that. Listen up. Second sign is that an individual can be an evasive type of personality. Now, what do I mean about being evasive? Is this is the type of person that's very slippery. Never really wants to confirm to a specific conversation, to a question that you might be asking. He never really gives you a true answer. He's always trying to find a corner to try and evade that question, to try and give you that answer. Especially if it's a relationship, ladies, that you're in and you're starting to wonder where this relationship is going, and you're starting to ask that person of interest, where are we going? And he's basically evading that question. Keep in mind, you have to understand that if we're not ready for a relationship, we're going to evade that question. We're going to find ways to not want to answer that question. So this is and again, we go back to immaturity. They're underdeveloped. So gotta understand and ask yourself, do you really want to continue something with this individual if he continues to evade talks about a future with you? Because remember this, ladies, us men, we're either going to be planning with you or we're going to be playing with you. It's one or the other. It's nothing in the middle. So we're going to either plan with you or we're going to play with you. So you got to balance that out and figure out, what is it that this man is doing? Is he playing with me, planning with me, or is he playing with me? So ask questions. And I encourage you all, ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. If this is the right man in your life, he will answer all your questions. He will step up to the plate. He will come up and he will do what he needs to do for the better of the relationship. If this is the man that really wants you in their lives. Because if this is not a man that wants you in their life and it's all he's going to do is evade your questions, and just not give you a plain, direct answer, you got to evaluate that. You got to evaluate those conversations. Every once in a while, it's okay to have relationship conversations. You have to have relationship evaluations. Why? Because if you're in a relationship for more than 6 months and you haven't really designed a plan out there, you gotta find out. I mean, it's like any job. A job, you have to get evaluated every 3 months. If not, obviously what happens? You get let go. Same thing with a relationship, ladies. You got to understand that every relationship needs to have an evaluation point. Why? Because this will save you heartaches. This will save you time. You will not feel like you're wasting your time and then with an individual, and this goes with the same thing with fellas, fellas out there also, we have to evaluate a relationship. If we're planning with someone that we can clearly see that they're not trying to plan with us, it's okay for us to have that evaluation talk as well. So it's okay to have that, and this goes for on both sides of the coin. So again, so this is the evasive, being an evasive person. For me, and what I've understood is he also is very good at hiding. This is an individual, and this is going to be something that you ladies might have to kind of take a step back and remember. Maybe you went through it, maybe you didn't, maybe you're going through it, maybe you haven't yet, but you're going to experience it at one point or another. And I hope that you don't. I really hope that you don't. I hope that whoever you're with is not this type of individual, and that they're meeting they're up there and meeting your expectations. But if you have gone through a situation by which you have found that this guy maybe was hiding his phone, keeping your eyes off of the texting. Maybe he was doing, he was just doing something that really struck that nerve and that intuition, that you never really knew or know where he was or who he was out with. If these kind of things kind of strike a nerve with you, then you probably either went through it, you're going through it, you might want to evaluate that. Now, this is a type of individual that also he knows how to, he knows how to duck and weave. Like if you know how to box, you got to duck and weave out of almost any kind of situation out there. And for them, we ducking and weaving with the perfect excuse. And for us, any excuse that we're gonna find, it's gonna find ourselves is for you to believe more than you really believe. So we're always going to give you this exaggerated excuse that is going to sound so believable that you're going to first you kind of wonder, but you're going to give us the benefit of the doubt. So think about that. Think about that again. So being invasive. If anything that I've touched on has kind of giving you an idea and be like, wait a minute, you got to kind of revisit a relationship that you're currently in, or that you have gone, kind of reevaluate that, and see where you were at in that moment, as far as mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So, topic number 3, this person, I've seen it, and unfortunately, and it sickens me to my stomach when someone pressures you to do stuff that you're not ready to do, or you're not ready, or you're not wanting to do. And these are the individuals that pressure you to sex, basically. And we're gonna keep it real here. Men, as hormonal as we are, as animalistic instincts that we have, we want to always have sex. That is plain and simple. These are traits of any human emotion, feeling. We go through this, men and women. But for a player, for a man that so you can understand, this is an individual that's always going to be hitting you up, wanting to sleep with you. Not give you any other reason. All he's going to say, hey, I want to see you, you want to come by. And if this is an individual that's only hitting you up at any time after 10, 11 o'clock at night. And all he's saying, hey, I want to see you. I miss you. I want to, come over. There's a reason why he's doing it. If this individual does not hit you up during the day, early in the morning and in the afternoon, tries to see you during the day, ladies, you understand this, and all he's doing, and he gets upset because you may not want to come over. Maybe you're not in the mood. You're not feeling it. And all he's doing, he just continues to be, just continue to do those pressure points. He's a big time player. You got to think this true and through. You got to understand this, and you got to hear me out. For an individual, for a player to pressure you for sex, it's just that that's all he wants. He just wants to set himself, at peace for himself. He just wants And the way we were going to say it is he just wants to get his, and that's it, and that's one of the biggest traits. That was one of the biggest signs of a man that is a huge, huge player. So, ladies, please understand this. That this is an individual that is always looking just to have sex with you. That's a big trait. And, with no commitments, no. Now, I'm talking about the men that have no commitment to any other ladies. And that's all. No, that's all they're doing. Think about that. This is an individual that, handles everything very smoothly. He's going to feel like, it's just an overwhelmingly lust, for you that you might find irresistible, and he'll be overcome it with desire. What do I mean about that? This is an individual, smooth talker, that he will do whatever it is to kind of hit those emotional nerves of yours, that he's going to say the right thing, that basically you're going to find it irresistible, And I understand we all have needs. Women, you have your needs. Us, men, we have our needs. But it's so much of a beautiful way to do it when you're actually doing it with someone that you're actually in a relationship with, that you're planning a life with, that you're married to, rather than just a random thing here and there. So emptiness. It's just such an empty feeling for an individual to do that. I've heard in the past, it's a Chinese teaching from what I was told, that anytime that an individual lays in bed with another individual, a piece of themselves gets taken, or gets taken from the other individual. So take that into account. It's so much easier to not fall into those kind of pressures. So that's topic number 3. That's the sign number 3. He's pressuring you into sex. So, this is an individual that, he just, and it's okay for you to say no. And if it's an individual that really makes you feel uncomfortable, you really have to watch those signs. You might want to, you might even want to go for it, which is perfectly fine until you realize that that's all you might get from him. You're not going to get anything else, because you want to just be okay with it. And you gotta understand those two, that balance, that you're either gonna be okay with it and only get that, or if you're going to want to get more, and for a fact you're not gonna get that from them. It'll feel different than your normal, just because it won't feel like he's drawn to you magnetically. Basically, it'll feel like one of those wham bam, thank you ma'am, and situations, basically. And that's what it is, and we're going to keep this real. It is. It's just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, vámonos, on to the next one. And that's what men do when they're players, in that hunting mentality, and that when they're in hunting mode. Women, please listen. This is what they're doing. This is why we do what we do. So, maybe they'll try and, and I've seen it again. I've seen it countless of times. And again, it sickens me to my stomach when I see, there's men out there that in order for them to get someone in bed, they have to get them drunk, and because that just bypasses all that messy stuff in between. He just wants to trigger you to be impulsive as quickly as he can. Think about this, ladies. This is, if a man is just trying to get you drunk, do you really think that he's there for your best interest? Think about this. It's not a healthy individual, because if all he's trying to do is get you drunk, because he knows by getting you drunk, you're going to hit that stage, and you're going to be able to you're going to sleep with him, and he knows this. Guess what? You just gave him the biggest key to the kingdom, that he knows that through alcohol, he's going to get you. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Whatever it is that you're putting out there is what you're going to end up getting back. So let's go ahead and go to point number 4. Point number 4. This is going to be a bit of a clash between what I how I feel personally versus what I've researched. But signs that he's a player is going to be, if we're going to go back to this whole thing about, the evaluation, the relationship evaluation. If this individual, you've been dating this individual, I'm not saying on and off, but this is an individual that you've been dating, and you haven't met his family. You haven't met his kids, his parents, brothers, siblings, family. I'm not saying friends. I'm talking about immediate family. If this is an individual that's planning with you, you should at least have already met his parents, at least within 6 months. Within the 6-month period, you should already have met the parents. Now, this is where I'm kind of in between crossroads between this one point. Personally, and this is full disclosure on me personally. There are sometimes that there are typically reasons behind closed doors that maybe there's a reason why the individual may not want to introduce you to their parents in that moment, within that time frame, or to their kids. And at that moment, ask questions. Ask questions, because if there's a reason why, ask questions why, so you can understand the motive. Now, if he's being evasive and telling you all these sorts of excuses that you for sure he's lying and he's just being evasive, and there's no way that you're going to, that you're literally going to believe him, then at that point you have to make a decision whether you want to continue something with this individual or not. But again, tap into that intuition, ladies. There's going to be men out there that do have a legitimate reason why they do not move towards that next step. It may not be that they don't want to. It's that maybe there's something shaky in between that relationship still, that us men, we probably don't want to go to that next level yet. So, but this is where communication comes into play. Ladies, ask questions. Open up the line of communication and figure out what is it that, that it's still lacking in order for you to move to that next step. This is the whole planning and playing kind of a scenario. So this is where you got to understand whether this individual is going to be planning with you or he's going to be playing with you. So, so this is, but if the individual is being, evasive about it, he's just playing with you. See, so he lands into that player mentality, that category. So you got to understand this. So because a player is not going to want you to meet their family. They're not, because they're not taking you serious. So what they're going to do is they're going to try and always find some sort of an excuse. My parents are out of town. My parents are doing this. My parents are doing that. Whatever reason that they're going to give you, because they don't want you to meet their parents, because they don't see you in that category. So they're not going to introduce you to their parents. To, truth, and that's just reality, harsh reality, but it is reality. A friend of mine once told me that, and it's true. Especially if you're Mexican, like I am, the mother is always going to say something in the terms of, a mí ya no me vuelvas a traer a nadie en esta casa. If you know Spanish, you know exactly where I'm coming from on this. And it's true. A mother will always tell you, once they get sick and tired of you bringing women after women, or even if it's not your intention, but if it just happens, they're going to get sick and tired, and they're going to tell you, don't bring anyone else here. So you have to understand that there's communication. So it is a true fact that this happens. But again, it's because it's doing because of our own stupidity. We act stupid, and we tend to ruin certain scenarios that should not be overly used. In this case, introducing a woman to our parents, to our kids, that's a big no-no. If you're going to introduce someone to your parents, man, try to be that late. Make sure that that's the one that you're planning a future with, not someone that you're just playing around with for a while and then you're masking it to be that this is going to be the one. Come on. Let's go ahead and get real with this. So this is the individual that's going to keep you at arm's length. It's only going to keep you on the dial tone under maybe a fake name, and only, will only call you every once in a while, So this is the type of man that will never even bring up the idea of you meeting their parents. A man that's planning with you, oh, believe me, they're going to want to introduce you to their parents right away, or at least within the 6-month period, because if they see that there is a future with you, they're going to plan that. It's going to be planned. I told you, we're not that hard to figure out. We're very linear. Through our linear lifespan, there's going to be a spot for you to be able to meet our parents, our siblings. If we have kids, our kids. So keep that in mind. So now we're going to go ahead and hit step number 5, or sign number 5. Sign number 5 typically kind of ties in with everything that we've talked up to this point. To be able to understand that this individual is a player, is that things are not going to progress past the sexual stage of the relationship, or would-be relationship. If this is a situation where you're only seeing this individual and all you're doing is, just being intimate, laying in bed with him or with her, because again, we're going to talk on both sides of the coin. But right now, and because I am talking to you ladies, understand this, that if the relationship doesn't progress past the sexual aspect of it, this individual, his plans are not to plan a future. He's just playing with you in the moment. So what do I mean? Yeah, I understand, laying in bed, having, being intimate, having, let's just call it how it is, just having sex, it could be fantastic. It may be just something that you're looking for too. I mean, but at the end of the day, you might be mistaking, that sexual intimacy for love, because that's what a lot of people tend to mistake that with. So they think that by having sex that you're making love, but obviously, let's be real. If you really have that true connection with that individual, that's the only individual that you desire. You don't desire anything outside of that. You don't desire anyone, having these wild fantasies about, people on TV or musicians or whatever, because I've heard from friends of mine. I've heard from both sides of the coin. And women, when you tell a man a certain way that you like, or individual that you kind of like, as far as whether it's admire, whether it's a model, or a singer, a movie star, a TV star, whatever, you're already, again, you're giving us the keys to the kingdom. So basically, we kind of know how to go out there and do our research and figure out, okay, so she likes this individual. Okay, so let me kind of mold myself to that way, so that way I can come back at her, and automatically I'm triggering something that she likes, because you've already told me. Again, we're stupid. Well, yeah, we're stupid, but we're not that stupid. Once we on something we like, we are going to target that, and we're going to listen. Why? Because that's the hunter's mentality. The hunter's mentality is, we're going to do what needs to be done to be able to get that prize, to be able to get that hunt. So we're going to do whatever it is necessary. So again, and this point is that if things between you and him don't progress past the 6th time, you got to, you got to understand that it's not any fault of your own, but it is a very common mistake that a lot of women make with men. The intensity and the passion in the bedroom, it's often misunderstood as being real love, or having that real love connection. This goes to create some sort of an intense feeling of, this is it. He's the one. And this comes from the women that, what the guy simply wants to chalk it up to just, being just, we had a good chemistry, but he's not looking into anything past that. So this is just, and this is just really important, for you ladies. Please understand this, that most men are able to separate sexual intimacy from the deeper emotional connection of a relationship. And this is what creates that struggle for you women. because we're so easy to separate them, separate the sexual, intimacy in the bedroom versus having that connection with you. When we're not into you, but we just want to have that sexual, that sexual intimacy with you, that's all we're gonna do, because we can block that out. But when a true man adores you, loves you, worships you, puts you in that pedestal, there's that sexual connection. Now it doesn't become just sexual. It becomes so much deeper than that. It becomes more. It really connects you to the universe, and it connects you so deeply that your spirit can even feel it. And this is an individual that, and this goes to where you desire more than just the sexual aspect of it, the sexual gratification that comes after that. So if you feel like there's love between you and him, you got to understand there's between what love and lust is. And you got to understand what it is that you're trying to understand between you two. So now that we talked about all these players, I do have to warn you for one thing, though, and this is going to come, maybe it's going to come as a shock to you women. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Most guys aren't able to be players. They just simply haven't got what it takes. What do I mean about this? The true men that are not able to be players, you can differentiate them because why? Because they have a love for that right there, for him right there. They have a fear. They have a respect for the woman, because we understand that a woman should be someone that we need to care for, love for. We got to cherish them because of you women, we exist. So there's genuinely some nice guys out there. Some of us have been have tripped and fallen short of our due desire, with maybe someone that we were in a relationship with, and because of whatever X reason. But we are out there. Genuinely nice men are out there. The good guys, we're out there. But we are a little scared. We are scared because of what type of hurt that you women have gone through, and it's unfortunate because we have to pay as for whatever hurt that you've gone through. Us guys that are wanting to have a nice and wholesome relationship with you all cannot approach y'all because there's walls, there's barbed wire, there's snipers, there's Dobermans, there's all sorts of things that you women tend to get up and race up and build this stronghold that it's you basically you want to hold it as Fort Knox. But there's men out there that tend to find ways to get in and past all that because you tend to give us the keys to the kingdom. So you got to understand what you give us is what we're going to utilize for the hunt. That's what we, plain and simple. So what are we afraid of? We're afraid of just the rejection, and that's basically what it is. The good guys out there they don't want to deal with the rejection because they don't want to get hurt. They want to put it out there, but they don't want to get hurt. So that's basically, because I understand, man, the players are the ones that are going to have, they're going to have the big courage. They're going to come out to you. They're going to talk to you about all sorts of things that, some don't tend to have a filter in their mouth. So, you might find it offensive. Some of y'all may not find it offensive. You might find it funny. It's just, but you also got to figure out that, again, it goes back to that sweet talking. Sweet talking doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to talk to you very soft, very, very endearing, Sweet talking means that this individual knows how to talk to another woman in a certain way where it triggers an interest. So you got to understand, sweet talking does not necessarily mean that I'm going to talk to you sweet whisper sweet nothings into your ear. I'm going to talk to you like a normal human being, but I'm going to talk to you in certain way that it's going to strike an interest. So ladies, you got to understand and differentiate these two ways of understanding how a man's going to talk to you. So, so of course you'll find yourself running into some guy that is either consistently refusing to commit or stay in a relationship. And you have to look at the dynamics of your dating style and how it's going to work with guys. So sometimes because of the bad information that you get from either your mom, your girlfriends, lack of good education or bad relationships that you've experienced, you probably will find a man, you probably will find that man that you've grown cold and distant, and you probably often look at him like he's a player, and when he basically is not. So also keep that in mind. I've encouraged ladies to stop listening to other ladies' advice when it comes to men. If you want to have the right advice, go ask a man. Obviously, a man that has no interest in you, obviously. Because if you're going to go ask a man that clearly has an interest in you, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to validate what you want to hear. Why? Because it's something that is to their own interest. That's plain and simple. That's how us men, we work. Whatever advantage we can get over another individual, whatever advantage we can get over another hunter, we're going to do it. Plain and simple. That's just truth. We're going to do it. So always go and look for the man that for a fact has no interest in you and will give it to you plain and simple logic, no BS. They're going to talk to you straight and going to give it to you the way it is. So, because you might be misinterpreting, because of whatever information I've just shared with you, you may be misinterpreting the information based, the lack of education, the advice that you've gotten from friends that probably they never got the right information in the first place, and all they can give you is the information based on what they experience. So again, stop listening to your friends, ladies, and just ask a man whatever it is that if you have a question about a man, go to a man and ask that question. Stop asking your female friends about it, because I can't ask a man about a female if I know he's not a female. I'd rather go to a female individual and ask her a question with regards to another female, because why? She's a female. She probably has gone through the same situation. She probably hasn't. Maybe she will. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But my recommendation is stop talking to your female friends. Just ask a man, and they'll give you the clear answer. If it's a man that's not interested in you. Now, if he's an individual that kind of has been roaming around, kind of hanging around, kind of, giving you validation for whatever it is, you gotta keep an eye on what it is that you're looking into and you're trying to achieve. Anyways, so we have come to a conclusion. This has been the 5 signs he's actually a player. Today, again, this is the last part of this 4-part series of Decoding Man, from thinking like a man, or thinking the mind of a man. I'm already over here changing the name of the of the show. So this was the mind of a man. This was the talk series, Decoding Man. Why we do what we do, why we think how we think, and why we say what we say, and leaving you ladies second guessing yourself. Why is it that we do what we do? Thank you all once again for joining me for these last 4 weeks, and basically allowing me this opportunity to come to you all every night, giving you and share my wisdom based on what I've experienced as a man, the experience with my associates, my friends, my colleagues, my family, whatever it is that I've been able to acquire through all these years. On a personal take, I've been single, I've been married, I've been divorced, I'm a single father. I've been I was in an on and off relationship for 8 years. Obviously, I have experienced and acquired that experience, and basically now as a single man, I am trying to do the right thing. I am trying to share this wisdom, understand, and help you ladies understand that there's the right men out there. And the right man that is out there is going to be the man that God right there is going to bring to your life. But you got to be prepared and have the necessary tools and be ready to identify it and not confuse someone that may not is there temporarily to just teach you, to teach you something and not keep them there for the long run. Again, there's so much more information that I can share with you, and I will be sharing more series talks in the next several weeks. In the next couple of days, I will announce the next talk series, which is going to start next week, and I will make some changes, and but all in this week, I will let you all know. Once again, thank you all again for joining me again in tonight's finale. I'm over here talking Spanish now. Thank you all. Thank you all again for joining me tonight in our last part in The Mind of a Man, Decoding Man. Tonight's talk was the 5 signs he's a player. I hope that this information was valuable to you all. I do appreciate every single one of y'all that join me for this almost more than an hour already, and I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the comments, the feedback. Don't forget to request me follow me, give me send me a like, a heart. Your feedback is truly appreciated because it only helps me get better to bring you more content that you guys deserve. So my name again is Luis Enrique Palomino Hidalgo. I know it's a mouthful, but hey, I am Mexican. I am proud of my heritage. That is what my parents named me, and I embrace it. So this was The Mind of a Man, Decoding Man. Why we do what we do, why we say what we say, and why we act, and why we leave you women clueless on why we do it. Again, thank you all. And whoever gets to watch this after the live is over, thank you. Thank you for watching it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your feedback. And again, I do appreciate the likes, the comments, the sharing. It only helps me get better. It only helps me continue moving forward. Until then, have a good night. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Again, stay safe. Love each other. Be well for each other. And again, ladies. Again, it's my utmost well wishes that you all find the right man for your life. Ask God. Trust the process. It works. It really does work. Just learn the process. Learn to understand it. Trust and faith that things will happen for you. You just got to learn to identify these traits of the type of men that are not right for you in this. So hopefully with whatever I've shared in these last 4 talks can help you some way, somehow. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Once again, don't forget to give me a share it, comment it, feedback. I love y'all. Thank you. God bless y'all. Stay safe and love each other. And again, like I typically say, if I don't see you here, I will see you in eternity. God bless. See y'all later.